It's another day to be thankful that I woke up in my right mind, in my right body, and in good shape to continue my walks, continue my praise, continue enjoying nature for what it is. It is also another day to enter that new chapter or continue this new chapter in my life. One quite different from growing up, where when you were a kid, or shall I say me being a kid, growing up down south, the dead was more of a fear. A lot of superstitions and so forth. I can recall Halloween time, plenty of old dirt roads, and lots of them drove by cemeteries. And we would have our little sayings like, don't point at the cemetery, or one that was classic, I don't even know where the hell it came from. I never even Googled it, searched it, but there were times when we would drive by the cemetery and, being a little kid, for whatever reason, would hold my breath. Until I saw we were past the cemetery, and then I would breathe again. Don't know what the fuck that was about, but it was done. There was no walking. You really didn't even want to look at the cemetery. And oh God, if you pointed in the cemetery, whew, that is what it was about back then. The dead, the cemeteries, all of that was very frightening to some, didn't understand anything at all, or saw the cemetery as just a place of death, sad memories, the final place. Well, that also depends as well on what church you were a part of, if you paid your tithes, your offerings, because even though, and I'm not going to touch too much on this subject, even though you could be a member of the church, if tithes and offerings are not paid, you would not be buried in the church's cemetery. This is what was instilled in me, and it is still said to me to this day. Not going to say by who, but it has been brought up that if the church, even if you don't go to that church, just because you're a member, if you don't pay tithes and offerings, you will not be buried in the church's cemetery. So, when it came to the thoughts that came to mind, the people that were buried there, that were lost, and God forbid you go just walking through the cemetery and stepping on or over graves without saying, excuse me. Whew. Oh, man. But once I have started the spiritual path, I've understood more. I've understood so much more and accepted I've accepted that side, and I respect those that have fallen before me. And I praise them and I honor them. Because that knowledge was not always given to us, provided an opportunity to learn. It was the worst thing in the world. The cemetery. You knew that if you were going there, someone was getting put there, whether you knew them or not. And that was it. That was the end. There was no more. The end, no more. You don't want to be in the cemetery. You didn't visit as much as you should have. And I have been at fault for that as well. My grandmother and my grandfather are buried right beside each other. And being there to watch her get placed in there was a pain and a hurt that is undescribable, because that was my second mother. But back to the topic. Those were thoughts that always involved the cemetery and the dead. Sad memories, the joy, but right along with the joy is all of the pain, the missing, the longing. But as I've come to understand more, to think about all aspects on a day-to-day basis, I realized how foolish I was with those thoughts. There were probably many of our ancestors who did not have that opportunity to visit their dead, that either died of natural causes, were killed, murdered. There are many of them who were just thrown in a ditch. Rosewood is one of those places that is documented. But you have to understand that we were slaves for this entire country. So, to be able to have a place that I can honor, visit, not thinking of all of those that were just tossed off of the boats, or better yet, the slave boats into the ocean. No one will ever find them, ever seen them again, or even remember their name or that they were even here. But me, for so many years, and even upon my military career, a cemetery was the last resting place of our soldiers, our fallen soldiers. But now, with these prayers and understanding more of what our people went through and what others have gone through, and that they are no longer here, but we can still speak of them, to them. I have even sat in the cemetery and have eaten breakfast. And they came to me. I was told to do so. And it is such a peaceful and quiet place. It is amazing. And I know this sounds strange or kind of morbid, but there is a majestic beauty to a cemetery. It is a place where people have placed their loved ones or their hated ones. Their tombstones or their markers. And it shows a very vast array of ideas, feelings, thoughts, or last wishes of those. And I felt at peace. I truly felt at peace to where I could sleep in a cemetery. And I know there are all different types of spirits, good and bad, that dwell in those places. But that fear was nowhere a part of me or in my mind. Hell, I even hugged a tree in a cemetery. Yep. Something that I know for a fact that I have never done. But that new outlook, we should give them that thanks. Go visit, go walk, just be in that environment and in that peace. Don't go with those negative thoughts, those horrible wishes, because that is not what any of this is about. This is about growth. This is about understanding what all have been through and what all will go through. And that is life and death. I am happy that I discovered this. I am happy that I have found something that can connect me even stronger to my ancestors and relatives, past friends who have gone on. Because that is no longer a part of my life. That fear. I don't want bad luck. I don't know what might happen. Oh, you can make up so many fucking excuses. You can make up so many excuses. When we walk and tread through more dangerous and wicked places on a day-to-day basis, from the moment you step out of your home, because things can enter your home or people, but thinking outside of your residence, from the moment you step out into a truly wicked place that at any moment in time, death, pain, hurt can befall you. So, for those who continuously think that it is worse being in a cemetery environment, saying a prayer, think again. I'm truly at peace. I still cannot believe that I am saying that I feel at ease in the cemetery amongst the dead. But they were living before. And if not for them, none of us would be here. No matter how you want to look at it. And I thank you. I thank you because this allows my bond to strengthen even more. You know, it didn't matter if they were to tell me to go to the cemetery, I'm there. I'll bitch, I'll gripe, I'll crack wicked, ill-minded jokes, but I will still go. But now, whenever I go, It is a totally different atmosphere, totally different environment, totally different joy. A different joy of being able to enjoy the beauty of death. And I know that really sounds fucked up. I don't even know where those words just came from. Well, I think I do. Well, no, I do. But sadly, there is some type of beauty in death. But that is only once you understand. We all know it's a part, but we tend to lose focus. And just from this prayer and my talks, I know that I must go. When I go home, I will go and visit them. I will go and visit my grandmother and my grandfather. And I will sit down. I will sit down beside them and I will have a talk. And we all should too. If we can go to that cemetery, if we can go to that place and have a talk, chit chat. It doesn't matter if we know they are following us or not on our day-to-day life, our journeys, our trials, our tribulations. But that is their resting place. And if we have the power to get there or the means, we all should. If they were cremated and had their ashes spread over the sea, go to a beach, go near a body of water and just talk. Speak to them. Tell them about your day, what you miss about them. Reminisce of funny times that you've had. Because I remember, from what I can, those times with those that have passed on. If they had their ashes spread over the air, go to an open space. Go to an open field and honor and respect and talk. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I feel this way, that I can share this, that hopefully someone who is hearing this will understand how I feel in this very moment. That, hey, I should. Why haven't? There is no reason why I should not have. Because it is where we will all end up. Now, how we get there, it's a different story. And no one wants to be forgotten. Even once we've passed. A cemetery is not a place for those to be forgotten, to be feared. That is a home. You hear me? That is a home. That is a home that still needs to be filled with love. Still needs to know that they still have a purpose, that they can let go, that they can be better than what or who they were before they were put here. And we should go. We should go. I already know that there are more times that I will be going to the cemetery. And don't get it twisted that it has to be a cemetery where you know someone that is buried there. This is a great place to walk. Clear your mind, your thoughts. Because our mind can run 1,000,000 miles a minute. But in that place, you don't have to worry about that. It is a great feeling. Leave all the superstition, all of those negative thoughts out the window. That is not what you are there for. You are there to better yourself. Remember how you got to where you are from the sacrifices and the final place. And hope that this would be your type of fire, your type of final place. Because I mentioned before, there were those that did not have this. A hole is all they knew. Or those that were put in barrels, sunken in the sea. Or if you don't know, up here, and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a fucking joke. And the movie was called Don't Say a Word. And this is before I came to the state of New York. And there was a place called Potter's Field. And in Potter's Field, there were nothing but markers. There were nothing but graves and numbers. And that is a place for those who have no identification, no family, or their bodies were never recovered, identified. No one went looking for them. And those souls are just there. And back then, I was just so amazed and fearful of a place like that, and thought some of the craziest shit in the world, that, wow, if the zombie apocalypse began, I hope it wouldn't start in Potter's Field, because the amount of bodies that are there, it's crazy. And that's not where I want to end up. That is not where any of you want to end up. That should be your home, your final home, to where your family members can come, your friends, and they can talk to you. They can rest. The Japanese and the Chinese, they prepare offerings at the grave sites. And I watch a lot of anime, both Japanese and Chinese, and sadly, I still didn't get it after watching how important it was for them to go to the graveyard. I'm visiting my mother's grave, my father's grave. Days were taken off from work and school without any issues to pay respect. Try that in the States and see what happened to you. Hey, boss, I can't come in, or I'm going to need this day off. Why? Well, I wanted to go visit my mother's grave, my father's grave. Well, can't you do that after work? It's peak season. We're busy. And the majority of us will not go. But we need to make it a part of our life. A very important part of our life. That place is not as bad as we have made it into. There is danger there. There is definitely danger there. But there's also joy. Because if you go to a cemetery, you will see that there is so much life amongst the dead. and in that place. There are cemeteries that I remember from growing up that you can't even get to anymore because of where they had to be. Off in the woods where you're just traveling down trails, cutting branches, this and that. But as time goes along and the land and the weather, it's too dangerous to travel there because of you could sink, or the graves and the tombstones have sunken down. Go out. Go to one. Speak to anyone who has passed that you want to. And just have that talk, a heart to heart. And you will see the difference that it makes. You will truly, truly see. Let go of those physical emotions that you had. And when I say let go, I mean talk them. Talk them out of your body. You know, I hated that fucking shit that you fucking did. I understand more as I became adult that it's not as easy as I thought as a kid. Why did you have to leave so soon? Why couldn't? Let it out. Let it all out. Amen.